Good afternoon, family, friends, ERA faculty and staff, and to the class of 2024. Welcome to commencement. I am honored to be standing in front of you all to commemorate our class's time together, achievements, and growth throughout high school. As Eleanor mentioned, our class's freshman year was a COVID lockdown year. Schooling was at home and personal interactions were at a minimum. The school and teachers did their best to keep us learning, but our high school experience that year was rough. We rarely saw friends and there were limited clubs. On the bright side, all our sports went undefeated that year. Thankfully, our sophomore year was in person, although we were all in masks. It's strange how unexpectedly difficult it was to recognize faces once we went mask optional. Remembering it now, it seems like an episode of Black Mirror, or The Twilight Zone for any grandparents out there. Our junior year was our first normal year of high school. This was the first real opportunity we had to grow together as a class. Junior year also saw a large portion of our class pursuing community college classes, which are an excellent educational opportunity, but it also meant we would see these students far less than we might otherwise. Considering all the obstacles we have had to overcome as a class, you might wonder how much camaraderie we have. That is a good question, and it was difficult for me to see until recently. This year was what you might expect from any senior year of high school. Students were spending their last year learning in classes, applying to colleges, playing sports, enjoying school clubs and activities, and spending time with their friends. A group of parents, teachers, and administrators took it upon themselves to make our senior year more memorable. We have had several senior events this year to give us some final chances to come together as a class. One of these events, the senior dinner, both fostered and highlighted the camaraderie I mentioned earlier. The senior dinner was the best time I can remember where so many of us talked, laughed, and reminisced. Not within individual groups, but as one group, the whole senior class. Each table publicly shared hilarious stories from high school. Maybe it was better that no teachers were present. And then groups of friends were mixed together for other activities. It was epiphanic watching different classmates from different circles getting along so well with each other. Our class, long after we leave here today, will forever be connected by our shared memories of ERA. Some of the most prominent of these memories are of ERA's teachers, who are terrific. Many of them have a contagious passion for their course material. Although I could easily share a dozen inspiring stories about my teachers through the years, here's one perfectly representative example. My junior year, I took AP seminar with Miss Price, my first class with her. Anyone who has taken a class with Miss Price knows what a phenomenal teacher she is. She loves books, as do I. Because I so enjoyed her AP seminar class, I asked if I could sit in her classroom while I was supposed to be working on one of my self-taught and CDPS classes, AP Calc. Miss Price was teaching contemporary literature during that block, and before I knew it, I was enamored with the class and couldn't help but read and follow along. Because of this, I had to do AP Calc during the same block I was doing AP Bio. I loved her class so much that I took it again this fall, this time for an actual grade. I am so thankful for her guidance, her book recommendations, her love of teaching, and for her desire to help me become a better person. Stories like this are surely ubiquitous throughout the student body. We are all undeniably fortunate for the support and mentorship of our teachers. Thank you, teachers. Now that I've reflected on ERA in our senior class, and as I'm supposed to speak for 6 to 8 minutes, I thought I'd share some wisdom with you all. However, as many of you might be understandably resistant to receiving wisdom from an 18-year-old girl, I will instead share a few quotes from some of history's most clever thinkers that I believe to be pertinent to today's proceedings. First, experience is simply the name we give our mistakes. Oscar Wilde. Many of us will be living away from home next year for the first time. Hopefully we won't gain too much experience. Here's another one often attributed to Wilde. Some cause happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go. You know who you are. Spoilers, the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42. Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. As some of you already know, the second book explains that the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is, what do you get if you multiply 6 by 9? There is a quote often incorrectly attributed to G.K. Chesterton or Richard Feynman saying, "Keep an open mind, but not so open that your brains fall out." That's pretty witty, but the full quote, spoken by Walter Kochnig in 1939, is even better. Let us keep our minds open by all means, as long as that means keeping our sense of perspective and seeking an understanding of the forces which mold the world. But don't keep your minds so open that your brains fall out. There are still things in this world which are true and things which are false. And what would a list of quotes be without one from Mark Twain? Keep away from people who try to belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that, but the really great make you feel that you too can become great. And these last two go hand in hand. May you live every day of your life. Taylor Swift. I'm just kidding, it's Jonathan Swift. And finally, life is either a great adventure or nothing. Helen Keller. It's interesting that by age 10, Helen Keller was proficient in sign language. Speaking of sign language, thank you, Asa, for signing this entire speech. Great job. While I'm thanking people, I'd like to thank my parents and sisters for all of their support over the years. Thanks so much, Mom and Dad. Congratulations, Eno River Academy Class of 2024.
Now we will be doing the presentation of students who received associate's degrees. First up, Alamance Community College.